Fish on.
Yeah, this lure setup seems to work pretty good. Nah, maybe it's a bull. Yeah, it's a bull.
It's a different color though.
Bright blue. It's because it's fighting. They get all lit up. They get crazy when they're fighting. This is a piece of another bull.
Oh! All right, anchor is up. We just pulled up out of Santa Maria. There's actually a pretty ripping current, I think. It's really hard to keep it into the wind where we want it to be, and right now we're even kind of fishing back and forth on our course. It's hard, you can't see it, but right over here, there is a pretty good sized town, San Carlos, I believe. You gotta go into Mag Bay and then up the channel to get to it. But you can see, or at least I can see, some of the like smokestacks from some factory or something. Anyway, so we're gonna motor for a little bit. We have a lot of wind. We have 10 knots of wind, but it's directly from behind us, which is one of our worst points of sail. So we have the preventer on the main. The main is sheeted out, but we might just motor until we can. We have got to go out of this bay and then kind of make a little bit of a turn more south. And then we'll set the sails to our course. So Rich is making water. Looks like Takuli is still there. They were just pulling up their anchor, so they're gonna be just a little bit behind us, which is perfect. We are on our way to Cabo. It's kind of a milestone, I guess, once you get that far. At least I think it will feel that way. Like, not a lot of really big passages after that. Not that we've had many. We've had a 3-day, a 1.5 day, and now a 1.5 day. But in past Cabo up to Steve Cortez, it's a lot of little hops and day hops and places to tuck in and things like that from what I've heard. 36 hours. We'll keep you posted. She's assumed the position. So we just turned the engine off. We've been running the motor for about almost 2 hours. We made some water, charged the batteries up, make sure our autopilot can stay powered through the night tonight. We just jibed now, and we're on a really good course. So we're going to kind of skirt the coast here, cruise by Magdalena Bay. The swell, which was, I don't know, 6 feet, and we were kind of paralleling it in the troughs.
Square.
Yeah, it was, for a while there, it was pretty bad. So, but the wind is 10 to 15. I saw 19, but that was brief. And we got the jib, and so the main reefed, just because it's easy. I don't know. We're going almost 7 knots, so
we're screaming.
We're about as fast as we want to go, I'd say, at this point.
We're jamming. I'm gonna freaking put a line out behind the boat.
Rich wants
catch
to
a
fish.
fish.
I can see Takuli back there. I'm not sure what their course is. We were headed out to sea. Now we just jibed, like I said, and we're paralleling land now. So there's the big bite coming up that if you're too far offshore, you're going to be really far offshore because the bite is like 25 miles offshore if you're paralleling it. And there's a section that we think we want to be like a mile offshore when you get close to Todos Santos. There's a localized weather anomaly that comes, it's windy over in the Sea of Cortez that comes screaming across the valley right there and accelerates onto this side of the coast. So supposedly we're not even going to have any wind by the time we get there. But if we do, we'll probably be close into shore. We've heard that's kind of the best thing to do. So we will see.
It's looking like it's going to be right around sundown.
Yeah.
When we cross that area.
Oh, is it?
Depends on how fast we're sailing at that time.
Supposedly nighttime is the best time to go across that area, but this is pretty nice. When we
it's a good motion right now.
turned and the swell is a lot more comfortable, and we have decent wind. We've been probably averaging 6.5.
Easily.
Which for us is really good because we're not very...
6.5 being comfortable is good. 6.5 getting slopped around ain't good.
No.
But yeah, it's confused out here a little bit.
Yeah, and the motor's off, so that's nice. Yeah. I don't think the autopilot is struggling too much.
No. Sails seem to be pretty balanced. The helm is not given the autopilot's not giving the helm very much.
Yeah. All right.
Coolio.
That's the update.
Yeah.
On our way to Cabo. Hopefully it'll be warm. I got my jacket on. Got a beanie on. I'm so tired of being cold. I got wool socks on.
I refuse to submit, so I got flip-flops.
He's got flip-flops on. He had shorts on earlier today. He gave that up. Yeah, we are surfing down some of these hills, some down these crests and making 8 knots. Occasionally, there's 7-9. Okay, I got to see an 8.
Come on, 8. 8 is great.
I'm happy with 6, man. Oh, 8.30.
There you go, 8.3.
Yeah, that's a surf. We're sailing across the entrance to Magdalena Bay, and it's like a washing machine. All of a sudden, we've had really, really good wind for the past hour and a half. The swell's been nice and kind of giving us a little push. And then all of a sudden, it's like the wind's a little fluky, and the waves have gotten ugly.
They're breaking next to us.
Yeah, they're like breaking right next to us. So hopefully we'll get across this pretty soon. The tide is going in to the bay, so maybe that's why? I don't know. It's not comfortable.
Yeah, it's a little fucking hell. Look at that. The tiniest little fucking video.
Let me see it.
Oh, that's like a bull. A little bull. Look at that beautiful thing. Oh my goodness. God, that's a beautiful fish. Yeah, grab my phone too.
What's it weigh?
About 12, 10, 12, 10, 11. First mahi, or dorado, as they call them over here.
Changes color pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah, they change color really fast.
So we're 35 miles out of the anchorage at Santa Maria. We passed Mag Bay, the entrance to Magdalena Bay a while ago. And we were trying to round the corner, but we had to jive a little bit and go out first. A little bit off course, just because of the way the wind direction is going, and then we'll jibe back towards land a little bit later. So, full excitement. Rich just caught his first dorado on a lure that he rigged up, I guess. Yeah, so he put together the pattern for it. So it's about a 12-pound dorado bull, I guess.
Yes.
And my job is to figure out which side is all the blood going to be on in the cockpit? And then I got to move the cushions because typically it's very simple. You know, you're usually leaning one direction, and that's where the blood's going to flow when he finishes cleaning it and what have you.
Yeah,
but we are rolling now. We've got it on this heading. The sea isn't as great, so we're doing more of a roll. So hopefully we won't have blood all over everything because I have cushions on one side now. So where we were sitting. Yeah. So my job is to get everything out of the way that we don't want to get bloody. It's pretty gross. So we get the bucket out. The bucket was down in the cockpit locker. Of course, he wasn't ready at all. Like, he pulled the fish in, nothing was out. Didn't have the bucket out, didn't have his knife out, didn't have the boga grip loose. The hose wasn't in. So kind of scrambled around, got everything ready. And then he's going to string it up. It was super bright and pretty, and the color changes pretty much right away when you kill it. And then he's going to drag it behind the boat for a little bit, just to get all the blood out, right?
Yeah, finish bleeding it out.
Supposedly stressed out blood, I guess, from when they're fighting and trying to survive, makes the meat taste bad. So you bleed them quickly, and then you drag them for a little while behind the boat, and then you cut them up. I have tuna already prepared for dinner. Like, are we going to eat the tuna, or are we going to have dorado? Luckily, we haven't seen any sea lions today. Otherwise, might not want to do that. We did see a turtle earlier. We've seen 2 turtles now. And then we had a seagull that decided to sit on our engine hoist arm. So he was sitting up there for a while. It's been a really nice day of sailing. Like, we had a really good point of sail. We had the wind was very fresh, 15 up to 18 knots of wind. And the direction was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And then we also had the swell at that time was good. So jibing hasn't been as good. But we'll get back over there. And then the wind has died down a bit. So we're only getting like maybe 9 or 10 knots at the moment.
We've been really blessed on this trip. Down the coast of Baja, 2 fat yellowfin tuna, and now a nice dorado. We were getting kind of tired of the ahi tuna.
Oh, so. Were we? So we're just wrapping up day 1, at least for the daylight hours. It's 6:30. Is that what time is this?
Seems like it.
6:30 or so. The wind has certainly died down a bit. And we're kind of creeping along here. And now we are jibing back towards shore. And we're probably going to have to jibe again. So it's kind of that's the way it is, I guess. That's sailing, right? It'd be nice to just set it and go in one direction, but that's not going to happen. At least not today. For dinner, we had some of our tuna. And I got these from Trader Joe's. They're seasoned chickpeas with cumin and I don't know what else. And they're like in an oil, like an olive oil. I don't think it's olive oil. It's probably canola oil. But anyway, and I put 2 little pieces of chopped up tuna in there and a little bit of lime and salt. And it was pretty good, huh?
Almond.
Yeah?
Delish.
Yeah. Just waiting out the night, basically. We'll see what happens. I think the wind might fill in a little tiny bit. And then it's supposed to die, like motoring die. So
I hope not.
I know, I hope not too. Right, so it's really good. The motion of the boat and the swell. This is one of the best it's ever been.
It's really flat.
The swell is minimal, and even though we don't have a lot of wind, we're still moving. So we'll just bob around here, do it this way for a while, till we can't anymore. On our way to Cabo. It's Wednesday morning, 9:30-ish, and we are sitting here off the coast of Baja, basically becalmed. We've got about 4 knots of wind. We've been motoring since about 5 a.m. The wind died down to just 1 knot or so, so the sails were just flogging around. So we started motoring about 5, and the wind hasn't really picked up, but we just wanted to give ourselves a break from the motor and give the cat a break from the motor. So we put the sails out. We got 4.6 knots of wind. We're scooting along at 2. So we had a pretty peaceful night last night. I had the 7 to 11 shift, and we had really good wind pretty much the whole time. I say steady 10 to 15 knots, easy, and then some little gusts up to 17, 18 knots. Making really good time, about 6 knots of speed, 6.5. And then for Rich's watch, and also the sea state is just flattened out a lot. And then on Rich's shift, the wind started dropping pretty significantly. We're probably going maybe 8 knots of speed, maybe going 4, average of 4 knots. And then when I came back on at 3, shortly thereafter, we had to roll up the jib and center the main and turn the engine on. We are now like 11 miles offshore, and I think we're just going to stay here because it's a straighter shot to Cabo this direction, and there's no wind, and all of the models that we have show no acceleration through there by the time we get there, which probably will be later this afternoon. Might turn on Starlink and just get an updated model just to make sure. I mean, they can, supposedly the winds can, accelerate 30, 35 knots or more and 50 miles out from shore. So our friend Patrick on Scout, they went in about a mile or so. They had way more wind than we did when they came down here, but they went out about a mile or so and said it was fine. I think they had some acceleration, but it wasn't bad. I do wish we had left when we originally planned to leave and didn't buddy with Takuli. We don't even know where they are. We haven't seen them since we left. So we're not really buddying, I guess. And their radio is kind of sporadic, so we can't communicate with them very well. We have our AIS on. I don't know if they have theirs on or not, but they're not transmitting. If they do, they might be receiving. I think if we'd left probably 6 hours earlier, we would have had more wind through here. Oh well. Everything was so calm last night, or the sea state was really nice, that we slept on the settee here with the lee cloth up, and little Twitchell snuggled right in. She loved it. Mostly with Rich. She snuggles right up next to him. With me, she snuggled down by my feet. But yeah, she really liked it. She was downstairs most of the day, I'd say, right?
Bagging and tagging. I think I'm gonna make fish tacos for lunch today. Yeah, the tail end trimmings, the smaller stuff. Nice little 12-ounce packet. Couple of dinner fillets.
So is that for her?
Yeah.
She's look at her.
She's got her own. I've got a bowl for her.
Rich?
Hey. Seriously?
Later on in the night, when the crowds have gone,
Dorado taco.
we could talk.
Don't drop it.
Yeah. Happy lunch to me. So we got cucumber, cabbage,
We stay to watch the sunrise.
sour cream, cheese it looks like, lime. Thank you.
We don't need a reason why we just can't. I wish I could stop time. and
Fish
stay
on.
in this moment.
Yeah, this lure setup seems to work pretty good.
Won't you stay
Nah, maybe it's a bowl. Good.
for a little while?
Yeah, it's a bowl.
Different color though.
Bright blue. It's because it's white.
Myself free falling.
They get all lit up. They get crazy when they're spicy. This is a piece of in the bowl.
Oh!
Oh well.
How did that happen? I'm so glad I got that on film.
It happens. If you don't gaff them and,
Yeah. Do you want to gaff it?
not really.
I don't really either.
Next thing. That's cool.
Your lucky day, buddy.
Yeah, no you were going to be food.
We anchored outside the harbor in Cabo San Lucas in the pitch dark around 1 a.m. Only one other boat had an anchor light on, so we drove along the outskirts of the anchorage to make sure we didn't run into anyone or anchor too close. The next morning there was a cruise ship anchored behind us, and by the afternoon another cruise ship had also anchored there.
So we're at the Circle K and the organic grocery store.
We lost Evan and Bianca.
They have Land's End Coffee Roaster. Hola.
That afternoon we joined Evan and Bianca at the dinghy dock to check out the town. We walked around a bit and grab some drinks near the marina to people watch. We found Cabo to be very touristy and a bit obnoxious, so we left the next morning for San Jose del Cabo. Next time on SBRO.
I like Cabo.
Bye, Cabo San Lucas. I'm glad we're not staying here longer.
It's too rolling.
Too rolly, too busy,
Too
too loud, too much traffic. Yeah, one night. No, 2 nights technically, I guess. 1.5, I guess. 1.5 nights. We just had a pretty fresh little jaunt from Cabo San Lucas to here. 25 knot winds.
Yeah, it was breezy and lumpy.
Quite a bit of chop, yeah. Almost on the nose.
Yeah.
While in San Jose del Cabo, we provisioned for several weeks. We're hoping from here we'll be spending some time anchored in Los Muertos and Espiritu Santo.